guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a ship with me. These are all things that came in over the weekend for the most part since Saturday. I have one bundle that came in on Friday and we'll talk about why I didn't ship that out on Saturday when I get to it. But other than that, a little bit of a slower weekend. I'm kind of not surprised. It was a holiday weekend. Happy Easter to all of you who celebrate. And I know a lot of people had family over and kids are home and spring breaks are happening and life is just generally crazy for a lot of people. So kind of not surprised it's a little bit slower on the resale world. Let me know if you're having the same effect. Always interested to see who ebbs and flows and if we all ebb and flow at the same time, or if, you know, some people are up and some people are down. I'm sure it's heavily dependent on what you sell. Anyway, this is just what the inside of my brain looks like. All the time. I'm just thinking about these kind of things and trends and how things are moving for me and how things are moving for other people, like just all the time. This is just a literal glimpse into what it looks like up in here. Anyway, if you are new here, first and foremost, welcome. Welcome aboard. You got a glimpse inside of my head before you knew my name. I'm Julia. That's my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something you are into, be sure to hit subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. We have a lot of fun here and we'd love to have you along. Without further ado, guys, quelle surprise, it's Monday, I'm running late, it's already afternoon. I need to start doing these in the morning and have these things to the post office by noon, but it's already afternoon, so we need to get these packed up and over to the post office. I've got a million more things to do after that, so go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get in to the shipments. So first up here, and this is a perfect example of something that I will pick all year long, no matter what. This is the cutest little linen, like baby doll top. The designer here is Francesca Bettini. I don't really know who Francesca Bettini is, but it does say made in Italy, and Italian flax linen is amongst the best in the world. And this is just something that is so evergreen. It is, this could easily be 20 years old. This could easily be brand new. And it would be the same. You know, they wear well, they wash well, and they look great forever. So I will pick this in the dead of winter, and in fact, I believe I did pick this specifically in the dead of winter. And I know it'll sell. It's something that I don't mind, you know, hanging on to. Like, I'm just gonna get it when I see it, because it's something that people will like clear out in the fall, you know, when they're clearing out their, you know, the summer clothes that they didn't wear. And I know it's gonna sell, and linen usually sells for a pretty great price. Italian linen in particular, people look for it. So if you have Italian linen, or if you have a piece that says made in Italy on the tag, make sure you use that keyword made in Italy or Italian linen in your listing, because people will search specifically for Italian linen. Just like little tip, a little thing you can do to get yourself to that top of search terms. So again, I will pick these up anytime I see them. And you know, the good thing is, and this is like something that we have the benefit of when it comes to warm weather clothes, something like this just doesn't take up a ton of space in storage. Whereas like a chunky, heavy sweater, like a winter sweater, is going to take up the space that like 15 of these shirts would take, right? So I feel a lot less serious about sourcing warm weather basics like this in the winter versus sourcing heavy sweaters in the summer. Anyway, I had this listed for $32 and I had it for about 2 months and it popped through as a full price sale. This happens a lot with Italian linen. So just, again, use your keywords as much as you can and pick up any piece of Italian linen that you see. Full price sale, I did pay $1 for this at the bins, and that brought my profit to $26.17. Super, super, super pleased with that. And again, I will pick those up anytime I see them. Next up, now in contrast, this is something that I almost never pick up, and this is a cute little shirt from Love Stitch. Now Love Stitch is a Nordstrom brand. I've got a Love Jones for their maxi dresses. I literally have, I think, 6 colors, and I wear them all the time in the summer, but they just don't resell well. In fact, I've gotten a couple of my maxi dresses on resale for like $10, $15. So just bear that in mind when you're picking this up. The only reason I picked this up is because it was brand new with tags. And it was a cute like navy blue and cream boho style top. I knew that this would go just based on that. The one exception to the rule with Love Stitch that I adhere to is their kimonos. Their kimonos sell really, really well for me. I'll put it this way, like any kind of kimonos, and I've had, I think 3 or 4 of the Love Stitch velvet kimonos over the years. And an unbranded velvet kimono is gonna sell for a decent price, as long as you're sourcing it right? So Love Stitch, anytime I've ever had one, it's sold within like a day or two for like $35, $36. It isn't a cheap brand to buy in store. It's certainly not like Farm Rio. It's not one of Nordstrom's more expensive brands, but you know, it's still Nordstrom prices. So you're still paying, you know, for that velvet kimono at retail, you're still probably paying $70, $80. So they do sell really well, and I will pick up any Love Stitch kimono that I find. But in terms of shirts in particular, the maxi dresses, only if they're brand new and only if the price is right. You know, it's just not something I would pick up all the time. So this one I had for 5 months. So that kind of gives you an idea of how long this took to sell. I had this for 5 months. I had it listed for $32, and my sidekick, and apologies guys for the choppiness, I got another batch of these envelopes that like have no stick on them. So I have to like reinforce them with tape every time. Anyway, I had this for $32. My sidekick sent an offer for $28, which was accepted. $1 cost of the bins, and that brought my profit to $19.38. So glad to get that on its way, and you know, always good to talk about a brand like that that is something that you would maybe think is higher end, but also doesn't actualize as high end on the resale market. So next up, now this was one I knew would go as soon as the weather got warm. This is a Free People sweater. I think this is called the Palm Breeze sweater. Isn't this ridiculous? I love it so much. So this is a size medium, of course, in grand Free People style. It's quite oversized. It's got ruching on the side. It's got roll-up cuffs. This is in fabulous condition. This one I got, I'm pretty sure, dead of winter, like 4 months. So 4 months ago, that's, yeah, like December. I got this in November, December. So just as the weather was really starting to get nasty. And, you know, again, it's a sweater, but it is definitively a summer sweater. It's all cotton, super, super soft. This was a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer pick. I will almost always pick up chunky Free People knits. So this is one that I had in my closet again for 4 months. And I had this listed for $39 and got an offer for $32, which I did accept. So with the $1 cost from the bins, this brought my profit to $22.58. Happy to be moving this along. I knew that, again, this was gonna pop off as soon as it started to warm up. It's just, again, such a beach sweater. Next up, now this is a fun one. This is actually a vintage piece, and I know this is vintage because I remember a boy that I grew up with having this exact vest. And this is back in the day of like, do you remember when Old Navy came out with their tech fleece? Like the chokehold that had, this was like what the cool kids had. So this is from Abercrombie & Fitch, vintage from either the late 90s or early 2000s. This just gives me like boy band. I think this just looks like somebody with frosted tips was rocking this back in 2001. If you know, you know. But I picked it up because I knew that this would go, and it's in like perfect condition. Like this doesn't look like it's been worn all that much. So I love picking up this kind of stuff. There's a lot of people out there that have kind of said that they struggle to pick up vintage because they just don't know like what would be considered like the cool vintage versus like the not cool vintage. And I mean, I think I personally have a leg up, and people my age have a leg up on what's cool right now from the 90s just because we lived it. You know, like we were kids, we were the teenagers in the 90s and in the early 2000s. So I just have a bead on what the cool kids wore because I was not a cool kid and I watched the cool kids and what they wore. Guys, I apologize if you hear a buzzing sound. My neighbors behind us are still doing some heavy duty constructing and it sounds like they're doing metal work right now. So apologies if you have a buzzing throughout this whole thing. I will try to edit out what I can. Anyway, I had this listed for $34. I did have this for 5 months. Vintage pieces in general are going to be a little bit of a slower sell, and that's okay. Like, I still love picking them up. I get a kick out of it. So I had this for 5 months. I had this listed for $34, and it did come through as a full price sale. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought my profit to $26.20. And I'm super happy to be moving this on and giving this a new life. Next up, this was another thing that I knew was gonna be a pretty quick sale. Despite the fact that they're an extra small, these are a little cute pair of Please, like Plisse pants from Zara. I mean, could they be more beach pants? Like, this is just something that you will throw on over a swimsuit and call it a day and go to get your cocktails. And these are pretty much, I think that they're brand new without tags. Like, they still have, it's not a tag bar, but it's like their little loop on it. So unless this feels like factory crinkle. I don't know how to explain that, but Please has just a distinct feel when it's brand new, and this has it. So these I knew would be a very quick sale. I think I only had these listed for like a week. And again, not surprised. Beach pants, now is the time. If you've got linen pants that you've got burning a hole in your closet, or that you've picked up, or they're sitting in your death pile, like, now is the time. So, you know, people want to buy these things early in the season so they get a whole season worth of wear out of it. Of course, you know, sure, listed in July, listed in August, people will still buy, but you will have more buyers right now on stuff like this. And there are some people that just, you know, kind of designate, all right, I'm gonna buy for the summer season now, and here's my budget, and that's it. There's a lot of people that do that and don't necessarily buy kind of all the time, like us, constantly buying at the thrift store. No shame, this is what we do. This is how we have fun and this is how we make money. So these guys I had, again, listed for about a week, and I had them listed at $32, and my sidekick sent an offer for $28, which was accepted. So I had a $1 cost of the bins here, and this brought my profit to $19.38. Such a great little pickup. And something, you know, for a long time, I hated picking up pants. For whatever reason, I hated picking up pants. I didn't like picking up jeans. For example, like Levi's, I know that there is, first of all, a ton of money to be made on Levi's. And I know that there are a ton of people that like literally only sell Levi's. Like, I know that there are sellers out there that is all they do. And I always leave them behind. I know certain things, like I know to look for the big E, and I know to look for, I think it's silver tab, but beyond that, I feel completely blind with Levi's. So if any of you do really well with Levi's, let us know down below, you know, what to look for beyond the kind of obvious things of like the big E and so on and so forth. So let us know, like, share the wealth. Now, next up here, I've got a 3-piece bundle, and this was the bundle that came through on Friday. And this is the reason I didn't get it out on Saturday. So I just found this, I think it was in last week's haul. But this is a Billie Eilish tour shirt, which is super cool to find. I love quality on this, is really nice. I talked a lot about in the haul, I'll link that haul down below if you haven't seen it yet, about why I think that this is a cut and sew piece, which means that it's basically kind of custom cut for this tour sweatshirt. Quality's really nice. The fabric's really nice. The dye is a custom dye job for sure. But when I went to photograph it, there were these little spots of discoloration that I found on the back of the sleeve here. And, you know, I'd already given it a wash when I got it, but I picked up a new like stain remover, and I wanted to give it a try before I sent it out, because, you know, even if there's a spot on here, like, I'm gonna keep trying to remove it until like the day that I send it out. You know, and if I can get it like back to pretty much perfect, I will, and I'll be very happy that I was able to do so. And lo and behold, it worked. So it had those little spots, and they were kind of slight areas of discoloration. And to be totally honest, I actually think that it might have been like a manufacturing defect, because when I went online to comp this, now there was no other comps because this is a hoodie and somebody had like removed the hood. When I looked at some of the other Billie, like this exact sweatshirt, the Happier Than Ever tour sweatshirt, there were other sweatshirts that had similar kind of spots of discoloration. So I'm wondering if this was something that happened like in production. So either way, the spots came out and they turned out really nicely, and that makes me very happy. I will link that stain remover down below. I think it's supposed to be like an emergency stain remover, something that like moms keep in their purse because kids are messy. And sure enough, like, it's worked on a couple other things, and I wanted to see if it would work on that, and it did. So that is piece 1 of the bundle. Number 2 is this gorgeous sweater. This is from a brand called Sacra Tokyo, gonna show you that label right there. I grabbed this because I felt the fabric and I'm like, this feels really nice. Look at this lace on the back. Isn't that pretty? So I felt this and I'm like, this feels like merino wool. And it's that, you know, that just kind of like lightweight merino wool. It felt really beautifully made. And when I looked it up, when I looked up Sacred Tokyo, it's a very high-end brand, although I think it's a very small brand. So I wasn't able to find any other like sold comps, but this was a total gut pickup and I'm glad I grabbed it. I want to say that the retail on that was somewhere around $300. So, I mean, it goes to show it's a very expensive brand. And again, the quality on this shows that, but not something that's super popular. And the last piece in this bundle is this absolutely gorgeous soft surroundings sweater. Isn't this beautiful? It's got like a little bit of a handkerchief hem, and each of these buttons, I don't know if you can really tell, but each one of these buttons is unique and different. And same on the other side. It's just such a pretty sweater, and I've never found anything else like this from Soft Surroundings. And I think it's so, so pretty. I love this sweater. My mom loves this sweater and wishes it was her size. I'll keep looking, Mom, I promise. This was an interesting one. This is like, the size on this is an extra small petite. So I knew that this would take a little bit of time to sell just because it's, you know, it's an extra small petite. Although I will say, this looks like a generous fit. Like, this doesn't look like it's meant to be like skin tight for an extra small petite. Let's get these stacked up. Ready to go. It's a nice little bundle. Now, in terms of how long I've had all these, they're kind of all over the place. So the Billie Eilish sweatshirt I had, again, it was just in my haul last week. I think I listed it on like Thursday and it sold on Friday. So, I knew that that would not stay long. I actually had a couple people even on my videos, you know, ask me to list it. It's Billie Eilish. I mean, who doesn't love Billie? We all love her. We love her, love her, love her. And then the other two, we're gonna put this in a box number 7 here. And then the other two I've actually had for a little bit of time. And I'm, again, not super surprised about that. You know, the Sacred Tokyo piece makes sense because it's, first of all, it's high end. And second of all, it's a pretty obscure brand. Beautiful, but obscure. Something that I figured would sell like on style more than brand. And then the Soft Surroundings, just by the nature of the fact that it was like an extra small petite. Anyway, so I had these all in. The bundle price came, I think it was to $105, and I got an offer for $75, which I did accept. With all of my costs on this brought my profit to $55 even. And I hope you absolutely love them. Super happy that I was able to get those spots out of that Billie Eilish sweatshirt. Like that is like a win for me. You know, like I'm sure anybody else who does this feels the same way when they find something and it's really cool, but it's got a spot and you're able to get the spot out. And tiny victories, y'all. Celebrate the tiny victories. It's very important. Next up here, this is one that took a while to sell and I'm kind of surprised at it. This is J. Jill. And this is their Luxe Tensil line. This is just kind of like a long line, kind of cardigan sweater. Either way, I mean, this is as soft as could be. This is just like a perfect bumming around the house, throw it on over leggings kind of piece. I do love J. Jill. Most of my J. Jill cardigans sell pretty quick, within a couple weeks. And this one took a while. I just think it's so nice and so soft, and I want to like live in this fabric. I had this for about 5 months, which is again, very long for a J. Jill piece. And I had it listed for $32. And I got an offer for $20, which I did accept. I was ready to move this on. You know, it's kind of a bigger piece. It's getting into summer. It's something that'll sit probably through most of the summer. So happy to get this on its way. Again, I had this for about 5 months. And with a $1 cost at the bins, that brought my profit to $15 even. This is just kind of an anomaly with J. Jill, so, you know, I'm gonna keep picking it up. The other stuff has been moving very, very quickly, so always happy to find those pieces. I hope she loves that. That is, I mean, butter soft. Next up, now this was one I couldn't resist. This is from Liv Los Angeles, L-I-V, Los Angeles. Let's see if I can get you in on that label here. So this was sold in Anthropologie. I think it's an older Anthropologie brand, but look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Like, I was not going to leave this behind just because it is such a beautiful and delicate top. I knew that this would go based on style. This isn't something probably that people are like seeking out, you know, by name, but it is something that if you're looking for like a lace shirt, This will catch your eye. It is absolutely beautiful, in really great condition. So I had this guy for 5 or 6 months, and again, kind of not surprised, found it at the end of summer, and it is very much a spring or summer piece. But I do definitely think it was several years old. Either way, happy to move this on. I had it for 5 or 6 months, and I had it listed for $28. And I got an offer for $18, which I did accept. Again, I had this for 5 or 6 months. I was ready to move it on. Now is the time to move it. You don't want to sit on it too long because it feels like definitively spring, right? Like this doesn't even feel necessarily summer. Happy to get that. With a $1 cost from the bins, this brought my profit to $13.40. Happy to move that along, and that's just a really beautiful shirt. I hope she loves it. Next up, now this is one that just popped through. This is a chunky like cotton blend sweater from Zara. It's like chunky, it's a little bit cropped, but it's an oversized fit, ribbed, really nice sweater in fabulous condition. And I had this guy listed at $32. This is one of the older Zara labels. This is something that if it had a newer label, it probably would have sold pretty lightning quick. But it did have an older label, so not surprised. It was only 2 months. I only had it in my closet for 2 months. So it is a chunky sweater though, so it's one of those things that I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get out of my closet before summertime because they are so bulky, and I do like to source sweaters, and I like to start doing that in like August, late July to August. But there's a lot of time between now and July, and these do take up quite a bit of space. So I had this listed for $32, and I had it listed for about 2 months and got an offer for $25, which I did accept. And with a $1 cost from the bins, that brought my profit to $19 even. Again, happy to move that along. And finally, this was a cool one. This one I've had for a little bit of time, but this is Carolina Herrera. Love Carolina Herrera. I mean, this was such an exciting find. This one was not a bin find. I did pay up on this. But this I've had, it's a size 8. This is tweed, it's silk lined, it's in beautiful condition. I mean, as classic can be. It's like a lighter tweed here. It's got a slightly different texture tweed in this kind of over the bust and upper back. And then it's got this kind of boucle neckline, just stunning. Something that is, I mean, this is truly a forever piece. I mean, that's kind of what Carolina Herrera does best, right? She does absolute classic, beautiful tailoring. It's just kind of her signature, right? Like she's known for making these like timeless designs. And it's funny, like anytime I watch a runway presentation, when I'm seeing dresses, me and my best friend always, you know, we play Joan Rivers in our hearts. I miss her. And we do our critiques of dresses. I mean, we're never harsh or anything, but it seems to me that like the dresses I love the best are always Carolina Herrera. And she's just so classic and such, like she uses black, white, and red better than anybody does black, white, and red. But she's just an incredible designer. So this guy I've had for about 7 months. Actually, I'm gonna put it in a bag in the box just to give it an extra layer of protection. And since I have one sitting here. So I had this listed for 7 months, and my cost on this, I did pay $20 for it. So I dropped the price on this once, and I had it listed for $158. And that is something that like, if you find a Carolina Herrera dress and it's $20 or it's $25, like just do it. Like you will make that money back. It will take a little bit longer just because it's a higher price point, and even, you know, even $158, this did come through as a full price sale. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. So even though this is like a $1,400 dress, $158 is still a big number. So it's just gonna be a slower mover just because not everybody is in the place to like drop that kind of money on a dress. So I did have this for $158. It was a full price sale. My cost on this was $20, and that brought my profit to $116.74. Super happy to be moving this along. I hope she absolutely loves it. This is such a beautiful and classic dress. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. It's so nice to have somebody to talk to and to nerd out about all of these weird things that I'm into. But if you had fun, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It really helps me. But without further ado, guys, running late. I've got to get these packed up and to the post office. So have the most amazing weekend. Happy hunting. Let me know if you find any treasures, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.